Good morning, boys and girls. Don here once again with Adventures of the Burr Oak and Retired, along with my trusty pal Elmer, the Reckless Remote. We are going to try to keep you entertained today, if we can get through it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and of course, don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you'll be made aware of when a new video comes out, and you'll be able to see it without having to dig for it. Thank you very much, everybody. I really do appreciate everything that you guys provide me. You provide me with quite a bit, so thank you very much. So I'm gonna talk about my dad again, just because he's on my mind. Um, as I've said before, he was very distinguished. He was Johnny Carson-esque. He was very, very dry humor, very, very quick-witted. Had a pun in his pocket constantly. He was always on it. Unfortunately, somehow, I would say somewhere between quite often and regularly, my dad would end up being the butt of the, excuse me, love that pause button. My dad would end up being the butt of a joke. Something would happen to the poor guy to where he would end up the butt of the joke. So we used to go camping every year. That was a great thing that our parents provided for us, was the camping trips. We used to go up to Sugar Creek Glen Campground in Dansville, New York. That was a great place. As a kid, that was fantastic. And we used to go to Maine all the time. We used to go. There's a desert in Maine. Anyway, we used to go up to Recompense Shores Campground. I'm not sure where it was, but we went up around Bar Harbor, and we went to a place called Winter Harbor one day. So why do they call it Winter Harbor? And so we drive down in there and get out of the car and find out why they called it Winter Harbor, because it was about 30 degrees colder down there by the water than it was up there where the sign was, which was odd. It was funny. But we used to go to Bar Harbor and Land's End, and we went to a bunch of places. Of course, we had the old station wagon, right? 7 of us wise men would all pile up in the station wagon. And my dad always drove. My mother didn't get a driver's license until she was 60 years old. Okay, hang on. I have to interrupt myself. I got to tell you what I think is the funniest story ever. So, my mom didn't get a drive. She didn't want to drive. She doesn't need to drive. He drives. Let him drive. So, and of course, in Canandaigua, they had taxis, right? So, my dad wants my mom to know how to drive. Hey, if something ever happens to me, you need to know how to drive. So, he's going to teach her how to drive. If I recall correctly, this was in the old 59 Dodge station wagon that we had, which was, boy, I'd love to have that car now. But anyway, we had a 59 Dodge station wagon. So my dad is sitting on the right-hand side of the front, and my mom is behind the wheel, and you got these kids that are standing up on the back seat, hanging on to the back of the front seat, because kids could do that back then. You didn't have to be 22 years old and still in a car seat. Anyway, so you got kids standing up on the back seat, looking over the front seat like this, and just being paying kids. So my mom is frustrated because she doesn't really want to learn how to drive. My dad is frustrated because he's trying to teach somebody who doesn't want to learn how to drive. And he's got these kids in the back seat that I'm sure he was just about ready to disembowel. There's a screen went out. I'm sure the situation he was in was hopeless. And he got himself into situations like that, or he ended up in situations like that all the time, which is how he became the butt of a joke. But that's not the point of this story. I got to slow down the talking a little bit. I get rolling on this thing, and it just starts coming out. So we'll slow down just a little bit. So here he is. He's on the passenger side front. My mom is behind the wheel. The kids are standing up in the back seat looking over the front seat, being stupid kids. And my father tells my mom, okay, let your foot off the gas a little bit, and slowly apply the brake. So my mom backs off the throttle, goes on the brake, and starts slowing the car down. We were coming to a T intersection, and my dad said, "Stop at the stop sign and turn on your left blinker." So she stopped at the stop sign, and she reached over and grabbed the blinker and broke the handle off. Now, keep in mind, back then, it was just a metal rod sticking out, a little thin handle sticking out. It didn't have all the controls for the wipers and headlights and everything else on it. So she said, "Blinker." And he said, "Yes, blinker." And she put the blinker on, and she broke the thing off. And she turned around and she looked at him and she said, "You mean this?" And my poor dad, he's got the pressure of teaching her. He's got the pressure of the kids in the back seat. He's got the pressure of life in general. And I think that was probably just if smoke could have come out of his ears, if it was humanly possible for smoke to come out of his ears, it would have happened. You mean this? Okay, what else was I going to say? He was distinguished. Oh, he'd end up being the butt of jokes. So we used to go to Maine every year. We'd load up in the station wagon, 7 of us, load up in the station wagon, and we had a camper, a pop-up camper, Riviera, a Nimrod Riviera camper. We'd go to Maine. It's 500 and some mile drive. The drive was through New England. It was absolutely beautiful. Maine is a beautiful, beautiful place. It's pretty hard for me to get there now because I'm in Louisiana, and it's about 2,000 miles, I'd reckon, 1,900 from where I'm at to where Maine is. I'd love to go. It'd be great to try to backtrack some of those steps. Anyway, so here's my mom and my dad. My dad did all the driving. He's got the trailer behind. He's been up since 2 o'clock in the morning because you got to pack the car and you got all these kids you got to get ready. And of course, the kids are all moaning and groaning. They don't want to have to get up. And kids, let's face it, for the most part, kids are horrible things. Of course, I was perfect. Anyway, so you got to load up the car, and then you got to be concerned with the car making it there, making it there and back. I mean, these were mid to late '60s automobiles, so you got to, and then you got all the, it's just a big deal. So he drives the whole thing by himself. It's 500 and some miles. He drives the whole thing by himself, and we get up to the campground this one particular day. We get up to the campground, and all of us are out of the car, except him. He's driving, and my mom is telling him where she wants the camper, which resembled quite a bit Lucy telling Ricky where to put the couch, because it had to be exactly the right spot. And so he's backing up and pulling forward, and she wants it here, and she wants it there. And there's my mom and the 5 kids all standing there, and my dad's getting frustrated. My dad's getting frustrated because he's been driving all day. He's been dealing with all these kids. He's been dealing with her. Everybody either has to stop to use the bathroom or they got to have something to eat. And I'm standing there, and I looked at one of the tires on the trailer. And as he was moving it around, I looked at one of the tires in the trailer, and there was a hunk of tread missing off the tire. And so I told him, and the other kids in the family told me I was an idiot. But he went over there and looked at it, finally got the camper where it was going to go, went over and looked at it. Sure enough, there was a piece of tread missing off that tire. So now that he's finally got the camper in place, he can't set it up because he's got to change the tire on the camper before he can set it up. So, of course, we all jump in to help. Yeah, right. We're all standing there. We're all standing there watching this poor guy, frustrated as can be, wrestle over changing the tire on this camper. There's a line of us, my mom on one side, and all the kids all in a line. And he gets out the four-way lug wrench, and he goes to loosen the lug nuts on the trailer, and the lug wrench slips, and he went rolling. Took me a second to gather there. Yeah. Sorry. It was so funny. It was cartoon, you know. The lug wrench slipped off, and he went rolling like this. It was in a crouching position. He's got this four-way in his hand, and his feet up in the air like this, and he rolls. Oh, wait just a minute. All right, sorry about that. I just I can see it in my head like it was 20 minutes ago, you know. And we all busted out laughing. And I don't know how that dude survived things like that. He got up off the ground with that four-way in his hand. And he just stood there with kind of a scowl on his face looking at us like, you know, I can't believe you're laughing at me. I couldn't believe you were laughing at me either. But anyway, eventually he got the tire changed. Not we, he got the tire changed, and he got the camper set up. And then we all started complaining about other stuff we wanted. Poor guy. You know, he really deserved a lot more respect from us than what he got. All right, this one's at 11 and a half minutes. I need to get this thing closed out. Thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that if I make a new video, you're made aware of it. You don't have to go digging looking for it, and you can find it. All right, Elmer. I'm convinced he's a 2-clicker, but he has been a 1 or 3, so we'll see what happens. 1, 2.